Right, I have my medical school exams coming up in a few weeks' time. There's thousands of pages of content to get through, so I think it's finally time to make my spaced repetition revision timetable. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Zain and I'm a first year medical student at the University of Manchester. A lot of us know about spaced repetition, but no one really knows how to implement it effectively and cleverly plan their revision in these spaced intervals. So in this video, I'm going to show you my study schedule for the next few weeks. I'll show you my exact thought process when making it, and I'll show you how I make the spaced repetition timetable actually work. Before we dive in, spaced repetition is a learning technique that involves you repeating and revising a topic over a duration of time where this duration is increasing after every repetition. The core idea is by studying something on day 1, then day 4, then day 14, and then day 40, by revising in these spaced intervals. By revising in these spaced intervals, you increase the chances of you forgetting that information so that when you come back to revisit it, your brain will have to work a lot harder and it's much more likely to actually stick. I know it sounds simple, but the reason that most students aren't able to actually use spaced repetition in their revision, despite how effective it is, it's impossible to do with all of your topics. It's all good to repeat 1 or 2 of the topics in those spaced intervals, but what do you do if there's 25 of them, all needing to be repeated every week, those repetitions increasing over time as well? But the thing is, there is a smart way to cleverly plan your revisions and do them using spaced repetition. Simply reduce the amount of repetitions that you need to do by making the method that you're using during each repetition a lot more effective. For each of these points of repetition, let's say you're doing studying that is passive in ways that don't engage your brain, like if you're passively reading, for example, again and again the same paragraph, if you're making notes, just copying the textbook, if you're highlighting the textbook. But if you're doing these sorts of things to revise, yes, it feels like you're doing a lot, but none of them will help you cognitively piece information together, understand it well, learn it, and then remember it long term. The better ways to learn the information just involve 2 simple things: encoding efficiently and then doing active recall. Aim to understand information by linking it to your previous knowledge, because that's literally how our brain learns and absorbs information the first time it comes across it. It's called encoding, and if you learn to do that efficiently, if you organize and structure information well in your brain, you will remember it for a lot longer, and that will make your sessions down the line a lot more effective. Do that the first time. Then the second time and third time, focus on active recall. Bring information out of your memory, test yourself on what you're learning, cover it up, and then recall it again. The ways you're doing active recall would involve recalling your questions, doing practice questions, making flowcharts, doing constructive teaching, any method that forces your brain to work harder to remember the information that you learn in that first session. The second thing that I always try to make myself think about when I'm actively revising in those spaced intervals is how I'm making my method different every time at every repetition. This is called interleaving. It should be varied. It should be challenging. It's basically just studying the same topics at those different spaced intervals with a different technique so that you gain a different perspective on that topic. So for example, in one session you do questions, in the next time you repeat it, you make a diagram on the board instead, or in the next one you do a discussion. Not interleaving and revising the same way using the same method for every single topic is a mistake. And that's the reason most students don't do well with trick questions or get stumbled up very quickly in their exams. It's because they aren't used to looking at that content from multiple angles. They're just used to studying it using that one lens. So always rely on effective study techniques and then just vary them each time you do that repetition. That's all you need to do. If you do that, you'll understand and remember the information really well, even if you only go through it 2 or 3 times before your exams. Now, let's jump into the actual revision timetable. I'm going to try and break it down and be as specific as possible. Step 1 is mapping out the subject, listing out every single possible topic that needs to be studied for that exam. Literally add all the chapters and broad topics of your subject or module onto a paper or a board and list all the subtopics underneath them. I've done this by dividing my content up into anatomy, clinical skills, and all the cases that I had to study during my term. And then after that, I labeled the topics that I felt particularly weak in with a red star. The first tip I have for this step is that you need to identify your weaknesses, point them out on the board, circle them, star them, whatever. You need to be able to know them so that you can effectively space and think about your revision out later a lot better. The second tip I have before we jump into actually creating the timetable is to arm yourself with exam exam knowledge. The format, the amount of content, the weightage of the paper, how much this actually matters to your future. Trust me, you want to do this before you actually start making that timetable so you don't end up just meaninglessly scheduling 10 plus hours of studying every single day for the next few weeks. Step 2 is scheduling and spacing out all the topics and tasks that need to be completed before the exams. To do this, I've made a timetable for the final 4 weeks of my revision on Google Sheets. I've planned it all out to incorporate spaced repetition, and I've made it a lot more effective by including the specific techniques that I'd be using at each repetition for every single topic. But instead of trying to schedule my life minute by minute for the next 4 weeks, what I prefer so much more is planning on a week by week basis. So for every remaining week before the exams, I have a list of tasks and topics that I need to complete at the end of every single week. And that makes it a lot more flexible. You have the whole week to get a list of tasks done. So if you don't feel like working on Monday or on Wednesday, you still have Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all of those 4 days to get your stuff done. It leaves enough room for your personal preference and your personal schedule. It doesn't require heavy planning minute by minute. All you need to do is get those tasks done by Sunday. Have them completed. That is the deadline. And as long as you're strict with yourself about that, I think this plan is very effective. As you can see, I have a column of all the topics divided into my PBL cases, clinical skills, and anatomy, just like I did on my board. Anyone can replicate this. I'll actually leave a template down in the description. You can replicate this if you want to. Just replace the headings with your topics or your modules. Now, after I have a look at my week topics, those star topics that I focused on initially, and after I make sense of the fundamental topics that I want to get done first so I can make the rest of my revision a lot easier, after I focus on those, I'll use those and start adding them to my first week. Unlike most timetables, however, you can see the tasks that I add for every revision of every topic. You can see how specific it is on there. I say exactly how I'm going to revise that topic to make sure the revision is varied throughout each repetition and that I am revising effectively at each point. And to make sure that I'm revising effectively right from the beginning. Instead of just saying, yeah, I'm going to revise asthma on Monday, what you do instead is you say review PowerPoint 6, 7, and 9 and make questions on them. As soon as you do that, you immediately clarify exactly what you need to do 4 weeks in advance, and now you basically ensure that your revision is effective at every point of your every repetition, and that will reduce the amount of time that you put in anyways. For me at least, if I know exactly how I'm going to be studying and if the way I'm going to be studying is already laid out, I'm much less likely to actually avoid doing it. As you can see, I'm very particular about how much I'm revising a particular topic, the way in which I'm doing it, and how I'm applying spaced repetition as well. For some of the topics, I'm doing 2 repetitions of the topic in that same week, which usually means that I'll do something on day 1 and then I'll leave 3 to 4 days gap in that same week and then attempt to repeat that topic again using the specific techniques listed. And then after I do these 2 repetitions in that 1 week, I leave that topic for like 2 weeks. I come back to it, and by that point I've forgotten so much of it, so that then me testing myself is a lot more effective. So for challenging topics, my formula is usually day 1, then day 3 to 4, and 2 weeks later basically. As for the handful of less challenging topics, I've only given them 2 repetitions in the 4 weeks, and obviously it's spaced out, but I'm making the decision to not repeat it 3 or 4 times because I want to be able to prioritize my weaker topics for those extra time that I have. Anyways, that's my logic with spaced repetition. It's quite easy to implement and it will be very effective even if you have those few weeks and all of those hundreds of pages of content to get through. Now that you've made your timetable, what are you going to do at each repetition of the topic? As you can see from my timetable, the way I revise at each point differs because each topic has to be approached in a different way. At the first point or the first repetition, my focus is understanding. My main focus is always going to be encoding efficiently, trying to take that information in layer by layer, and then side by side make my questions the ones that I'm going to use for future revisions. This first repetition can be done through reading notes, your textbook, an anatomy skills class, whatever it is. You need to be taking the information in layer by layer. This means spending the first 10 minutes looking through the main bolded headings, getting the general gist and the understanding of that chapter. That's what I think of as the first layer, skimming through the content. Then the second layer would be you looking at the basic concepts of the chapter, ignoring the overly complex specific stuff. Then after you've established that baseline, that's when you'd go to the third layer and process that information, the information that is overly complex, the specifics, the things that you don't understand. You need to be able to have this layering mindset when you're reading something the first time because that is how your brain organizes and structures the information. It makes it a lot easier for it to take knowledge, and if you're giving your brain easier information first, then medium, then harder, because now it can structure and make links between all the things that you're learning. At the second repetition, as you can see from my timetable, timetable, my goal, my priority is always going to be testing myself using my recall questions or some verified Quizlet flashcards, and then filling my knowledge gaps of the stuff I didn't know using a good YouTube video by Ninja Nerd or watching some important lectures. At this point, I've left enough time between my first and second repetitions to kind of forget what I've learned so that my brain has to work harder to recall the knowledge. If I don't know the concept, if I have gaps, I make sure to star those weaker concepts, and then I make sure to just fill in those gaps in that revision session itself. And at the final repetition, the third one, since it's been a while since I last attempted that topic properly, what I focus on is doing an activity that helps me generally test myself on the broader concepts first, and then I come back and look at some resources and read the specific details that I need to know or rote memorize for my exam. The reason I don't just jump into my recall questions straight away in that third session is because I now realize that after it's been 2 weeks since I studied that topic, I'm not going to remember most of it, even if I try my hardest. Which means that most of my questions will just end up being read. And because of this, I always start with a general testing. The general broad testing could involve an active discussion, making a mind map, something that is going to force me to construct whatever I know from scratch without having any questions or anything, but just a name of the topic and me having to just talk about that topic. That I feel like is a really good way of stimulating your brain to remember and recall things, and then help your brain very much understand those main concepts. And then after I've done this, after I've just tested myself using this, that's when I look at specific resources. That's when I focus down and read through the things that I need to really know and memorize before the exams, the drug names, the channels, all of that sort of stuff. And then to finish off the sessions, yes, I do then go over my recall questions and make sure my understanding is top notch. It isn't hard to study like this. It's a lot more effective, and it's a lot less boring than just studying something from your book. I'm doing effective, active studying for every topic and making every repetition of that topic different, which makes my spaced repetition a lot more efficient. And if you do this properly, you will understand and retain the information literally after 2 or 3 times of going through it before your exams. I know we have exams coming up, so to learn to quickly memorize large amounts of information in a short period of time, check this video out. I go through 2 effective methods that I use back in the IB for my content-based exams and for my more problem-based exams as well. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope this helps, and I'll see you in the next one.